Okay, so today we're going to be solving quadratic equations by the square root. Now, first off, we need to figure out how to get rid of a square root on the bottom because that you can't have. So let's figure that out. So first off, it says rationalize. When you have a square root in your denominator, multiply the top and the bottom by the same square root in your denominator. So our example here is the square root of 5 divided by the square root of 3. Now again, you can't have a square root on the bottom. So what you have to do is you have to multiply the top and bottom by this bottom number. So here I multiplied by the square root of 3 divided by the square root of 3. So we multiply the top, so the square root of 5 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 15. And then the two bottoms here, actually the squares cancel themselves out, so we just have divided by 3. So our answer here is the square root of 15 divided by 3. So let's jump into an example here. So our example 1 says solving quadratic equations. Now our equation, if you can see it's kind of small, but it says 2x squared plus 1 equals 17. So here I set it up. I said 2x squared plus 1 equals 17. I subtract 1 from both sides, and then I get 2x squared equals 16. Now, then I divide by 2 to get x by itself. I divided by 2. There's this little arrow up here, and I've got x squared equals the square root of plus or minus the square root of 8, because 16 minus 2 is 8. Then I go ahead and I square both sides, and I get x by itself, and x equals plus or negative 2 square root of 2, because when you take this, simplify the square root of 8, it becomes 2 square root of 2, and that is our answer. Put a little text box here, so let's see what our text box says. Oh, it says simply solve for x, so that's what we're doing. We're solving for x. Now let's look down here at this example. It says solve 3 plus 5 squared equals to 9. So I set it up. 3 plus 5x squared equals a negative 9. I subtracted 3 from both sides. So I got 5x squared equals a negative 12, because a negative 9 minus 3 is a negative 12. Then I divide 5 by both sides because I want to get x by itself, and I get x squared equals negative 12 over 5. Now remember, you cannot have a negative here, okay? And you also cannot have a square root. So we've got to do two things here. We've got to pull our I out, and we have to rationalize. So I multiplied by the square root of 5 over the square root of 5. And I get x equals plus or minus, again, I pulled my I out because I had a negative here under my square root, and 12 times 5 is 60, so the square root of 60 divided by 5. Okay? All right, let's do another example. So let's do example 3 here. We've got 2x squared minus 4 equals a negative 18. So I just went ahead and I added 4 to both sides. So I've got 2x squared equals a negative 14, because the negative 18 plus 4 is a negative 14. Again, I want to get x by itself, so I divided by 2, and I divided by 2, and I get x squared equals a negative 7. Now again, you cannot have a negative under your square roots. You got to pull your I out. So I square both sides, and I get x equals plus or minus I square root of 7, because I had a negative here, so I pulled my I out to the outside. All right, so let's go over here to example number 5. So example number 5, my first equation that I'm starting with is 1/3 x plus 5 squared equals a negative 7. So I went ahead and I started this. So let's see. I've got the first thing I did, if you can see here, is I multiplied by 3 from both sides. And the reason why is because here this states 1/3 times x plus 5 squared. So you're actually going to divide, and to divide you actually multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 1/3 is actually 3. So I multiply both sides by 3, and I get x plus 5 squared equals the square root of 21. Now the square root of 21 you can't simplify, so you've got to keep it that way. So I went ahead and I squared both sides, and I got x plus 5 equals plus or minus the square root of 21. I subtract 5 from both sides because I want to get x by itself. So I subtracted 5, and I got x equals negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 21. Okay? Now finally, I'll do example number 6, and then we'll be done. Now example number 6, if you can see, it says 3 times x minus 2 squared equals 21. This arrow here shows that I actually did the work down here because there wasn't enough space. So go ahead and follow me down here. So 3 times x minus 2 squared equals 21. Now again, this states 3 times x minus 2. So we do the opposite, we divide. So I went ahead and I divided by 3. And I got x minus 2 squared equals 7. Then I went ahead and I square rooted both sides, and I've got x minus 2 equals the square root of 7. I want to get x by itself, so I add 2 to both sides, and I get x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 7. Okay, go ahead, cross out the word problem portion of your lesson 4. You will not be doing that, and you are finished.